Is real estate a good investment? All right, the first question you have to ask yourself is, what's my risk tolerance? If you have low risk tolerance, the answer might be yes, because you can always get long-term tenants that might stay 1, 2, 10, 20 years in the house, and their rents can go up every year. Your number stays the same in a fixed mortgage, and ideally your equity goes up. Of course, no guarantees, but over the last 12 years, we've seen the average home price in the US almost double. Now, if you have a high risk tolerance and you're like, oh, I can handle anything, Leigh Brown, you might be interested in flips or renovations. You might be doing short-term or mid-term rentals. There's lots of different ways to look at investing in real estate. The risk that you have there is if the market changes very suddenly, that can impact your cash flow. Maybe you have a note that has to get paid off. Maybe you have tenants that are in and out. So the answer can always be yes. It could also be no. The most important thing I can tell you is that when you buy and sell real estate for investment purposes, know your competitive marketplace. And that means knowing what tenants are paying. It also means knowing who else is buying. A phenomenon that has cropped up in the last few years is called BTR, or build to rent. What these are single family neighborhoods that look like regular single family owner occupied homes. However, they're not owner occupied, they're all leased. We have one here in Concord where I do real estate that looks just lovely. All the houses are cute aesthetically, but they are all rentals. What this means is that the investor was looking for a good return on investment, and real estate can provide that through cash flow and equity upside. The downside is many of those tenants now think they're owners. They don't see a reason to save up and get forward in home ownership, which means that you go 20, 30 years down the road. We know that the net worth of renters is a tiny sliver compared to the net worth of homeowners who use their houses as both savings and investment vehicles. These BTR neighborhoods are cropping up everywhere in an effort to increase housing stock in the rental market. And if you want to know why we need more housing stock, there's still a shortage. No matter what's happening with the recession, we still just don't have enough rooftops. And you should know that hedge funds and institutional investors might have slowed their purchases, but they are overall still buying real estate because they know people have to have somewhere to live. The target for our hedge fund and institutional investors is to own 40% of the US housing stock by 2030. That means if you're looking to be an investor yourself, you're going to be competing with big, giant, huge buckets of cash. So you should be talking to your realtor and investor advisors now to see what's out there and what you can stomach. It also means that we as realtors and as policymakers need to be thinking on the local and state level about what we can do creatively to help stem the tide of homeownership being in the way of institutional investors. I can tell you this, it is always the individual neighbor who owns a house that's better for the community than some nameless, faceless fund somewhere. So it's on all of us to start thinking of solutions.